Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So we finally are getting a preliminary update on the medical examiner's report regarding the death of Noah Presgrove. The medical examiner is stating that he died from, quote, blunt force injuries, while labeling his manner of death as undetermined. Now, that brings a lot of questions into the forefront, of course. And for those that are not completely aware of Noah's case, he was a 19-year-old who had recently graduated high school, and he was found dead lying on the side of a U.S. Highway 81 near Terrell, and last year after attending a Labor Day party with friends in September of 2023. And this is in Oklahoma City. He was found, according to his family, completely naked, and he was only wearing two mismatched shoes. One belonged to him, one belonged to a friend. And again, according to the medical examiner's report, Noah died from multiple blunt force injuries, and because they labeled it undetermined, they haven't decided yet if his death is a homicide, suicide, accident, or natural. I could tell you it's not a natural death. It's not natural for a very healthy and fit 19-year-old boy to have a natural death, and not with all the injuries that have been found on Noah, and not the way he was found. So, and I can tell you it's not suicide either. I don't believe that at all. So I believe homicide, accident, but I have to say I don't think it's an accident. But that's my opinion, and I'm not one of the investigators in the case, obviously. Now, what's disturbing to me is that this was last week, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, who's actually leading the investigation over his case, has stated they're not considering it a murder at this time. Here is their statement. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol and Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation continue to investigate the death of 19-year-old Noah Presgrove. The statement stated, Presgrove was found dead along Highway 81 in Jefferson County on September 4th of 2023. Investigators have conducted numerous interviews and reviewed leads and evidence. Currently, the OHP is not investigating Presgrove's death as a murder. The investigation is not over, and anyone with information on Presgrove's death is encouraged to contact the Southwest Regional Communications Center at 580-353-0783. Again, if you have any tips or information, call 580-353-0783. Nation they recently spoke with Noah's brother, and I'm going to go through that interview, and then they also spoke with his sister, so we're going to go through those.
He had just said that Noah was in an accident, and so I thought he was in the hospital, and so I come by and I pick up my dad, and we started driving down there, and it's only a 30-minute drive from Comanche, but that drive felt like 2 hours just sitting in silence. And then we show up, and Jack and Caleb and the Jefferson County Sheriff was there, and Noah was covered up on the side of the road with the tarp, and it was just kind of a good 10 minutes just staring at fields, just and a loss of words, When we show up there, everything's going through our minds of what in the world could, because it doesn't look like a hit and run sort of situation, and some weeks go by, and we, they finally rule out the hit and run, and that 4-day party turned into something awful that happened within just a short hour time span.
He hit it right on the head there, that 4-day party. And I firmly believe something happened at that party. I'm hearing rumors that he had an argument with his girlfriend, argument with some of the other people. There was a lot going on. We all know that they were writing on each other, they were slapping each other, and drinking was flowing. So something happened, whether it was on purpose or not. At this point, I don't care if they were just playing and they were hanging out in the back of someone's truck and they were dragging, him on a skateboard, whatever you want to put it. They were doing some sort of crazy thing where they were dragging one another, they were doing this or that, hanging outside of a vehicle. No matter what it is, they need to talk. He didn't do this on his own. Okay? There were others present when he fell onto that road and ultimately died.
And for him, I believe this is his tooth right here. His pants were folded up on that square mark.
His pants were there. His tooth was right there in that circle.
I believe so, yeah. And his body was here. And he was in the fetal position, facing that way. And his body was covered up with a tarp or a blanket type of thing. And as you're looking at it, you can see blood seeping through the covering and onto the ground. As I'm looking at it, it just seems weird. The placement of the body, the tooth, the shorts, where they're at, doesn't look like a hit and run. Not that I've been aware of.
This poor guy, his family, his brother, his father, they saw Noah dead on the side of that road. The fact that he said his shorts were folded. So what? Who folded his shorts? He had lost teeth. He was in a fetal position. Very, very suspicious how things were. The placement of things were. It's very odd. And remember, he's correct. It's not a hit and run, and they already ruled that out. Because if he would have hit a mirror of someone's car, whatever, it would have been quite a different injuries on him. But again, whether it was purposely done to Noah or these guys were so high and drinking and whatever they were doing that they were playing around and things just went too far. And then he died. It doesn't matter. These other people need to talk. It's been over 8 months now. They need to give this family closure. And I hope it eats them up inside. Because it's a secret that it's not going to go away. And I know this family's not going to let the people forget, and a lot of us out here who have heard about the case, I'm going to make sure to keep Noah's name out there because he deserves justice if something had happened to him. Or his family definitely deserves to know what conspired and how he got to the side of that road in the condition that he was in.
And have you ever heard them say foul play is suspected?
I've heard suspected of foul play, suspicious death. And again, they don't tell me everything because they don't want to ruin the investigation. But they said that they've got a couple of people in mind on the situation, and that they're really looking in on them. So,
are you able to tell me who those people are?
They haven't told me.
But they have said that they have a few people in mind.
Yeah.
Interesting. Somebody's got to know something.
Somebody's got to know something. If there's 40 people standing around and someone walks off, somebody knows about it. So if 40 people are standing around and somebody gets into a fight, somebody knows about it, and with how close everyone is, with how many pictures are taken on Snapchat, you think that something has to turn up. Somebody has to know something and just doesn't want to say it.
And has law enforcement been pretty open with you about the things that you're hearing or what they are investigating?
Somewhat, they're willing to talk about certain things, but then there's some things that's like they don't want to say too much because what if it messes up with the investigation, and so there's a lot of areas that we're still in the dark about, that they know more about, and I'm hoping that they know more about the situation. That's kind of their job, and the only way we're going to get through this thing is if we're still hopeful.
Do you have any message for law enforcement or anything that you want them to know about how you're feeling or this lack of information that you're getting?
I get it that you want to protect the investigation. I get it that you want to protect the case so that way it's carried out. But quite frankly, 7 months is too long. I just hope that people see this and are able to, just maybe it'll push someone to say something, that they understand that it's being selfless. It's for someone else. It's for the true victim. If you know something, just say it. It's better to say it and let the family have some sort of peace, to let Noah have some sort of peace, than to not say anything.
I feel very, very much for his brother and his family. And I agree. Somebody needs to talk. And I am hoping and praying, and I'm giving them all the benefit of the doubt that the investigators are doing every possible thing that they need to do. They're keeping things close to the vest because they want to make sure that Noah has justice in this case is solved the right way. Spoke to Noah's best friend, who claims what happened to Noah was just an accident.
Yeah, really interesting hearing both sides of the story, one from family, another one from a very, very dear friend. We did the interview separately because I didn't want any sort of contamination of the things that they were going to say to me and their accounting of the story, but really great details from the both of them. I'll show you just very briefly. This is the cross that now stands on the side of the highway. Jack Newton, that best friend who is at the very center of this conversation, is the one who actually placed these crosses here on the ground. The house where the party was actually is less than a mile away that way. So really the story goes, as they are trying to piece it all together, is that at some point Noah actually just walked down this road at some point and his body was found not far from here. Let's begin with Jack's account though, because Jack has a very different opinion about what happened than what his family members told me. And at the same time, he also shared new details about what it was like to have so much suspicion surrounding him and what it was like to pass a polygraph test. Take a listen.
I ran over here, asked him if Noah was okay, and the semi-truck driver had his hands on Noah like this, and so I just and I could just tell, that he was not okay. He was laying on his side, and he just had his eyes closed, and he had a cut on his forehead. Like, it wasn't just like terrible, it was just a cut on his forehead. The top of his hair was scraped off his head, and there was blood on his ears. 100% in my heart think that he was hit. I think he got hit on the top of his head by a semi. And that shoe that was on good just stayed on. I don't know. I can't explain any of it,
Is there any part of you that believes that he might have been beaten to death?
No, he was not beaten to death.
Why not?
Because just the injuries, you just could tell he's not. And I said, okay, I'll take the polygraph test. I took the polygraph test, and it was nerve-wracking, of course. I had these two things on my fingers. I had a butt pad and then my feet thing, and these things around my chest. And I didn't even get to look at the guy. I was looking straight forward, and he was talking to me, asking me questions.
There's a lot of online chatter, and I think that's the reason why they're asking for you to take a polygraph test about you and your father. Tell me about what that experience has been like for you to have to handle that type of discussion happening all around you.
I think the reason that I got brought into it is because, going through high school, you did not hear Jack's name without Noah and Noah without Jack. We were just always together. I mean, he lived with us for a while, and we were just always at each other's houses. I think when everybody heard something happened to Noah, they just said, "What about Jack?" And just, I don't know. I don't know where all the crazy talk's coming from. Just sucks.
He doesn't know where all the crazy talk comes from? Well, Jack, they already ruled out that it wasn't a hit and run. I don't buy it for a second that it was a hit and run at all. I mean, I wouldn't say that Jack has a part of it, but maybe he knows somebody who was a part of what happened to Noah. Is he in denial? Again, they have suspects. Law enforcement has suspects. They're not telling us who. Obviously, my opinion is they were at that party. But he didn't just go down that hill and get hit by a semi. Jack, that is not even remotely what happened to your best friend.
Feel good to kind of be past that a little bit with the polygraph test?
I mean,
do you believe that you're past that or no?
People saying stuff. I mean, people are saying like it's easy to pass a polygraph and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. You can't really control what people say about it. You know, you just know what you know. And I've put my personal number on Facebook and said, if you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it.
So what has these last 7 months been like for you?
I mean, it's always been the hardest time of my life. And on top of other people saying everything, just been the hardest time of my life.
And if you truly cared about him, it would be a hard time in your life. And my condolences to you, because you were his best friend. But I don't know whether Jack just knows something and he's just not saying, or if he's in denial. I don't know. I didn't get to see the full interview. I'm not sure if News Nation aired that. But, and of course, we don't know what his polygraph came out as. And as I've said before, polygraphs it's a tool, but it may or may not mean much, you know? And we're always interested to see what the outcome is of them. But in reality, they're not admissible in court. And again, bottom line, it's just a tool. Do I get the impression that Jack did something to his best friend? No. What I do wonder is if Jack, Noah, all these other, or a couple other kids from that party, they all went out on in a truck or two or something and decided to get crazy, and that's what had happened. And he's so scared and horrified what happened to his best friend that he's in that denial stage. But if he knows something, if he truly knows what happened to his best friend, he really does need to speak up. If you truly cared about Noah, Jack, and you know something, you really do need to tell law enforcement. You know, again, if it was an accident and you guys were all doing something crazy, the truth needs to come out. But the bottom line, Jack, is it's not an accident with a truck. It's not an accident with a semi-truck. So what happened that night, Jack? I get the feeling you know more. You know more than you want to tell everybody. And I think you owe it to Noah to speak the truth. And finally, this is a clip from where Noah's sister spoke with News Nation.
Family are doing first. How are you coping with all of this?
We're pretty strong. I know that we are a resilient group for sure. So I think we're handling it as best as that we can, and just trying to stay hopeful and optimistic.
Hopeful and optimistic. What are you hoping the outcome will be? What does that look like going forward?
I'm just hoping that we get it all tied up and we get everything solved and all the questions that we're needing. I'm hoping that it's way less intense that we can't imagine it to be.
Yeah.
I hope that we find out that Noah went fast and that he wasn't in a situation where it would have been a lot worse. Does it make sense?
What questions do you have surrounding what happened?
I just want to know, like, how he died. I want to know what scenario was played out that caused his death, and what happened. I just want to know what happened.
And we're nearly 8 months out. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol finally providing this update that they are not investigating Noah's death as a murder. What are your thoughts on the handling of your brother's death?
I think that having some communication means there's progress. So with them saying that they're not investigating it as a murder, there's so many other things that they are able to classify it as. So maybe they have just made some progress and were able to give us that kind of update.
So we have this autopsy report released this week that shows that Noah died from blunt force injuries. It rules out him being hit by a car at that spot where he died. He was basically found unclothed. He was hit in the head, broken ribs. His teeth were knocked out. Despite all of that, though, your brother's death not being investigated as a murder, what do you think of that? What do you suspect may have happened that night?
Well, I don't want to just point my finger at anybody that I think could be involved or have any theories that are victimizing other people too, because in the end, Noah had passed away and nothing makes sense to us. So I don't really like to just throw theories out there, because if you follow the Justice for Noah Facebook page, you will get plenty of those. You can find plenty of theories everywhere, but I do think that something happened at the party that he was attending the night before, and I just think that people know and they need to speak up.
Tell me more about that. What do you suspect may have happened at that party? And we know that one of your family members told News Nation he believes foul play was involved. Do you agree with that?
I'm not going to disagree. I have no reason to disagree, but I know those people out there. They claim to be Noah's best friends. They claim to love Noah, and I hope with my whole heart that is actually what happened, is that they were not involved at all. But at this point, I can't rule it out.
What is your message for people tonight who maybe were at that party, people who had their phones out, taking images, taking photos, who may have seen something and are not saying anything? What is your message to them tonight?
I just hope that they can find it in their hearts to just do the right thing. And if you're doing the right thing, then that's all that we can ask of you.
Do the right thing. That's what this family's asking for. For these people at this party, these kids, and they're kids. They're kids to me, anyway, at my age. They need to do the right thing. And the truth will eventually come out. And if you're one of those people at that party and you know anything about what happened to Noah, it's time to get it off your chest. It's time to come forward, talk to law enforcement, and let's help this family get their closure. They deserve that. And again, I agree with his sister. If you truly cared, if you were truly a friend of Noah's, you would want that for his family. You would want that. And the fact that these people are keeping secrets, not speaking out, that's telling in and of itself. So I truly hope that some people decide to pull up their big girl, big boy panties and speak up. It's time to talk. It's time to help Noah's family get closure. He deserves that. And that's just the bottom line. Well, that's pretty much what we've got at this point, guys. I appreciate all your comments that I've been seeing on this. I am a part of that Facebook group. I'll link to it again in the information of this video. It's the family's always in there, so if you do go in there, please be respectful. There's a lot of his family in there. I would like to know what happened to him as much as everybody else does. And I believe these kids know something. They know something, and it's time. All we could say is it's time to talk. It is time to talk. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.